Okay, going through on my end, and YouTube is receiving the content. Alright, it looks like it's ready to go then. Hello and welcome to Gilmore's Glorious Gossip, a show dedicated to Critical Role over on the Geek and Sundry Twitch channel. Welcome to everyone joining us live, and as always, don't be shy if you have to leave. We understand real life comes first. We will be posting this on Monday, so you can continue with the conversation if you do have to leave early. And for those of you that are coming in on Monday or after, if you want to join the conversation, just leave a comment down below. We'll be sure to try to respond, and perhaps even get your comments featured in next week's episode. Eternal thanks to Akuma Mika at Mal the Griff for our logo. This week features so much amazing fan art.
I scored.
Yes, you found a lot of good stuff. The current art that you're seeing is by Damian Pierce at Eldritch Cupcake. And according to the tweet that he posted this on, this was a practice piece. So, wow. His practice pieces are better than the pieces that I work days on. But later, you will be seeing fan art by Leah at Delson's Fire, a piece by Simona D'April at Alexiel April at April, sorry. A piece by Ellie Vile at Whispers Divide. And lastly, a piece by Tartan Kiwi McCree at TARTAN_Kiwi. If you'd like your fan art featured here, please let any of the show's hosts know via Twitter or email. Our official Twitter is at Gilmore_gossip. And our email is Gilmore's Glorious Gossip, all one word, at gmail.com. You can also use our direct Twitters, or contact Jess via the Gilmore Gossip Tumblr, gilmore-gossip.tumblr.com, and we'll do our best to get it on the show. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you can catch us each and every week. I'm Akiva, found on Twitter at AkivaDavid, AKIVADAPHYDD. And joining me today is my excellent friend Jess. Go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us where you can be found.
Hi everyone, I'm Jess, otherwise known as at Jessie LR Leaf over on Twitter, and you can find me at Crit Sketch over on Tumblr.
Excellent. I am getting a little bit of lag on my end. Hold on. Sorry about this, guys. Thought I had everything figured out, but we do not have any comments for this week. The comments that we had from the last episode were primarily opinions on, or thoughts about, Darren DePaul joining for the next, what's the word I'm looking for?
Campaign.
Thank you. and all of that. But nothing overly pressing.
Mm.
Also, I missed the Talks Machina.
I have them pulled up.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
So
somebody else does a thread of notes that I sometimes pull from. But so last Talks Machina, we didn't have one this past week because we had Ashley's birthday and Brian was heading to New York for a whole lot of fun and games. And we only have the one for episode 106, which I believe we talked about last week, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
There was talk about Marisha's AMA, which we should post a link to. We'll get that up for you guys in the chat. There was talk about Marisha being the official creative director for Geek and Sundry back in January. There was... Sorry, guys, I'm just now getting to this. I came in a little late. Darren thought Sprague was going to have to sacrifice himself to keep Ioun alive, but Matt wasn't really sure how that was going to end either. So as soon as Sprague started offering his services, Matt and Darren both saw that opportunity for a redemption arc for Sprague. And there was a little bit revealed that the Sprague actually doesn't know the name of anybody in the party. They never introduced themselves.
No, they didn't.
It was great. There was talk about Marisha saying that Keyleth is more of a neutral worldview, and she talks about having the character since Marisha herself is so cynical, she doesn't talk. She says that she doesn't want to lose the empathy that's at the core of Keyleth's character. She's not going to move that from Keyleth's core personality,
which is a good thing.
She did say that Keyleth was becoming less stubborn in her self-righteousness. So that's good. I definitely see that progression for the character. And I'm really loving how Keyleth has progressed through this. It's a really interesting arc.
Yeah, one thing that a lot of people have thrown shade towards Marisha for is how slowly Keyleth is getting over some of her hang-ups. But you have to remember, Vox Machina's only been together in game time, about 4 years, 5 years.
I think it's more 3 or 4.
Well, I was close. But,
yeah.
At the same time, in real life, it takes people decades to get over their issues.
Yeah.
So, as much as we might like to see our characters grow and all of that in a matter of what would be to them a few months or even a small number of years, it may not. It doesn't happen like that for everybody.
Yeah. Hi, Exdigester.
Hello. and welcome back, Steelajet, who's been
good to have you, dude.
Yeah. And welcome, Griffin Malcolm.
So I'll do a little bit more. There's quite a bit, but I'm just gonna pick and choose here.
Okay.
Um, yeah. So we had questions about why Matt chose Scanlon instead of Percy, because there was a lot of discourse. A lot of people were really rooting for Percy to be the champion of Ioun. But Matt felt that Percy was beginning to fall into the nature of someone who was a seeker of knowledge, but it was knowledge that he coveted for his own enlightenment as opposed to sharing it with others. So he prided himself on knowing things and then being the one who knew things.
He lorded it. He lords his knowledge of things over others, in essence.
Yeah, and that's pretty much Percy, and that's to his core. He likes his secrets.
Yes.
He is a nicer Vecna.
Yeah. Not so much focused on, the necromancy side of things, but...
Yeah.
But yeah.
But But he did find a lot of what Ioun stands for in Scanlon, and that he's a storyteller. He goes around and spreads stories, and stories are basically knowledge. So he's much more of a pure candidate than Percival was. So it was, and the challenge that Ioun set them on would have gone pretty badly if it had been with Percy.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have benefited them to have Percy do it. No. Marisha said that Keyleth doesn't think being faithless would necessarily disqualify her in Melora's eyes. And she says it's just a difference between belief and reverence. She's more concerned about time right now than anything else in terms of getting all of the tremels done and everything.
Yeah. Not to mention, Melora would probably respect the fact that Keyleth is more focused on nature than on the gods. But again, they're down at the wire right now.
Yeah.
So.
Definitely. Marisha also said that Keyleth is genuinely delighted for Percy and Bex, but thinks Percy is a little bit of a fucking dick for not telling me. And Keyleth also has got some jealousy given Vax's situation right now. So in just terms of thinking about Bex, she's like, good for her, good for Janet.
Yep.
Let me see. I think there's one more thing I wanted to mention that Matt said about Vecna, because this was the episode right after. Oh yeah. Matt said that he loves having a villain that can pop in and taunt Vox Machina whenever he wants. Vecna's pretty much going to be trolling everyone who doesn't believe he's already won. And having a reoccurring villain like that also gives Matt opportunities to develop his character and build more interactions with the players.
Oh, absolutely. And knowing Matt, it'll be creepy as hell each and every time.
Yes. And there was a lot of not really Critical Role talk on the after show, but there was a lot of deep discussions that I highly encourage you guys to go check out. I'm not going to talk about it here because we're short on time.
Well,
we got
yeah.
two episodes. Yeah.
Yeah, that, and it's on Alpha, the after show stuff, the Vox Machina after dark, so to speak. So we don't generally watch all of that because Alpha is getting nicer. I still don't feel that it's worth the $4.99. So
I do. I watch it all. It's awesome. Because, man, you're missing out on Dread. You're missing out on Vast. It's real fun.
Yeah, I might give it a try again. We'll see. But let's do one last little pre-show announcement, and also if you could go ahead and send me that link to the, AMA.
Let me see if it's.
I
don't have it. Sorry.
Okay. We will get that for Monday then.
Chat, find it for us.
But we here at Gilmore's Glorious Gossip wanted to say congratulations to Ioana Murasan, who did the art for those amazing tarot cards.
Dude, that was so awesome.
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna get them because I have enough memorabilia, and I don't know. I don't use tarot cards.
I really want to set. Because I do use tarot cards, and it would be awesome to have them.
Yeah, they're really nice. Plus, Boss did the promotional video for it.
Yep.
That was great.
Well, we know he hasn't been idle.
Yep.
But that will bring us into the actual episodes. Episode 107 opened up with a very deep and heartfelt conversation between Vax and Keyleth.
There's a lot of I really love how they're so open to trying to understand where each of them are coming from, and just trying to work things out instead of, you know.
I mean, go ahead. Sorry.
Go on. No, I don't have anything.
Oh. It's Marisha was wanting to go somewhere with all of that frustration and all of that Keyleth was feeling, but the rest of the cast didn't know how to react to it and how to interact with it. So instead of a yes and, it became a yes, what are we supposed to do now? And by having that talk, not only did Marisha get the chance to get some closure with those particular issues that Keyleth was going through, but Vax was able to get some closure and some a chance to essentially say goodbye without it being sort of a rush job type thing.
Exactly. It was the moment that they needed to do ever since he came back. She needed to rage about it, and then she needed to, sit on those feelings for a minute, and then this conversation needed to happen when it happened. So it was really good of Vax to do that. Or for Liam to, jump in and do that.
Absolutely. But after a brief, or after that discussion, they rested. The next morning, Pike actually made them a hero's feast with one of the 2 chalices that Vax had left. And Matt did a really great job of finding an exit for Pike so that there weren't so many, but what is Pike doing? How would she react? That sort of thing going on.
Yeah, and they need an ear in Vasselheim because Pike has messaging now. Or she always had it, but she's using it now.
Yes.
And she's able to get messages to them right away. If, hey, Vasselheim's under attack, we might need you. And plus, she's basically a beacon for Saramray in that city, so she's pushing back at all of the bad undead shit.
Yes. So, but of course, Grog can't go on without a little memento from his little buddy.
So the little hair.
Yeah, she gives him a little lock of hair. Don't eat it. No. Which he eventually tied.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah. He eventually tied to his necklace.
Yeah. Was it the necklace or was it the axe?
No, his necklace.
Okay.
She used the axe to cut the lock of hair.
Cut it. That's right.
Yeah.
Real quick though, because this was something that came up often, did we ever discuss the where Vecna would strike first and how impactful that would be? Like,
that's a tough question, but if I were Vecna, Vasselheim would be the location to strike.
Definitely. It's the longest standing city with all of the it's the central power for most of the gods on that plane. So by taking it out and destroying the one thing that has remained through all of the history of this world, you're basically crushing like 5 birds with one stone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're hitting all of the sweet spots on every single believer out there, every single person, because it's, even without the religion aspect of it, the religious aspect, it is still the longest standing city that has shown no sign of ever being destroyed.
Oh yeah.
And decimated.
It honestly,
so
I would just have Vecna show up in the middle of the city, cause it to fly up into the air, and then just drop it. Let it crash.
Like the Avengers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
But that's just me.
Whatever weapon they're working on has got to be for something. And I would, if you want to hit the sweet spot, I would go for Vasselheim first, and then maybe Whitestone.
Yeah. I mean, Whitestone, for all of its progress recently, in the last year and a half, 2 years, it's still a pretty easy target. So is Amon.
Yeah.
And,
Amon especially.
Oh, yeah. Doing something to those two cities is like, well, yeah, I mean, they were weakened already. They hadn't recovered fully. So,
yeah,
for that reason, Vasselheim makes more sense. If you take out Vasselheim, then the world knows that there is nothing they can do to stop you.
Yep.
So.
And then just Whitestone, just because your enemies are based there.
Yep. So, but yeah, they have the heroes feast, and they say goodbye to Pike. Scanlon gets Pike to do a sending to Kaylee, and then they treeside to the shoreside village, and I can't remember if Matt actually named it or not. I think he did, and I don't remember what it
Yeah.
was.
I don't remember either. But Pike also sent a message to Terry, and then I think one to Alora.
Yes.
And she also cast the Death Ward on 4 of the party members.
Yep. Percy, Vex,
Vex.
Scanlon, and Keyleth.
Okay, Keyleth has it. Okay.
Yeah. So, they tree stride, and then they have to figure out where exactly the volcano is from that village and how they're going to get there.
Steel Jet in the chat says Shorecum is the name of the village.
Oh, thank you. So they get into Shorecum, and they go down to the docks, and they find one of the...
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah. It is just hilarious.
That was so great. That was a great turnaround on Matt's part, just to be like, oh, okay, you're going to bring up some random person. I'm not going to have it be what you said it was.
Yep.
And I'm going to make this difficult for you just because he made it difficult for me.
Yep.
So awesome.
And the guy was just... I liked how, in response to what he saw as an insult, his reaction was to wait until they asked their question a specific way.
Yeah.
It really wasn't about the money that they had offered, which ended up being like 2 gold. He just wanted them to know that he was insulted and he was going to make their lives hard for it.
Yeah.
So.
Felice Domini's in the chat. No, they didn't end up sending a message to Gilmore.
Nope. The boss still doesn't know what's going on.
And I am forever disappointed.
Well, I mean, he has us telling him what's going on, but, it's not the same.
But yeah, I know. He needs to hear it from them.
Yes.
He's been so sad lately.
I mean, they haven't even told him about, Vax being a revenant. And when we told him,
no, you should have seen his face, guys.
I got turned into a frog that week.
I got better. Wasn't a good week. Yeah, but I had to take care of you. It's not fun, Akiva. It's not fun taking care of a frog when you don't have the proper materials, and then you have to go out and buy it, use it so you can't return it, and now you just have a bunch of frog stuff lying about, and with no desire to buy a frog, and just you.
Well,
very upset.
You at least had the foresight to keep me in the living room and not in the bedroom.
Yeah. You croak really loudly, It's very annoying.
I couldn't help it.
Okay, moving on.
Anywho. Oh, boy. So they eventually get pointed in the right direction. And they charter a little... Oh, what are they called? Barge. Not a full, not a real big expensive ship. Just something to get them where they're going. And it turns out that the volcano is only about 5 miles away.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Steelajet got my my reference. The Monty Python reference She turned me into a
Oh, I haven't
newt.
seen Monty Python in years.
Yeah. But anywho, um, they have a little bit of fun with the captain of the barge, who doesn't say a word the entire time. But eventually they do, realize that they need to get going. So they jump.
Yeah.
They jump into the water. They get the water breathing cast on them. They swim down and try to find an entrance to the interior of the volcano. And Vax starts exploring some of the vents. That's the word I'm looking for. Some of the vents in order to see if there's an entrance in there. And while he's going through these vents, he's taking fire damage.
Lots and lots and lots of it.
Yes. Now, of course, he does have the Deathwalker's Ward attuned to fire, so it is halved. But still, it's hot down there.
Yeah, and you would think that you'd have more sense than to just go straight down through the center of a volcano where all of that gas is spewing out. But no.
Well, no one ever said the Vox Machina was intelligent.
But I'm glad they looked around. Like, they were circling around the subject of what to do, and I was just sitting there shaking my head at all of their ideas because none of them were going to work.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they finally... Go ahead.
It was getting to a point where I was saying to myself, hurry up.
Yeah, exactly.
Vecna's eating Vasselheim right now.
Yeah. I'm glad that they ventured out and around towards the bottom because that was it was pretty obvious that there was more to explore than what Keyleth had seen with her spell. They were just going off of that, but they didn't really realize, hey, there's a lot more volcano you need to explore before you find this place.
Yep. They eventually find a hallway or cavern.
Yeah, they find where water is pouring out, warm water, but there's also a pocket on the side.
Yes.
An air pocket for them to get into, so they decide to get into there.
And in order to do that, of course, they needed to widen the hole a bit.
Punch a volcano!
Yep. So
Sorry.
Grog punches the volcano. In the chat, X the Jester comments about the boat. More like a tug than a barge. John O'Brien responds, a scow maybe? And Jester, we can agree on a scow. Yeah, we'll go with a scow. So, yeah, Grog punches the volcano. They all make their way in. And Keyleth closes it using a...
Move Earth?
Yeah,
or
not Move Earth. It was that wall of stone.
Okay.
But they realize that they can't breathe pretty quickly.
Yep.
And they find a pool of water, and they just faceplant into the water so that they can breathe. Now, because of Vax's revenant state, he doesn't have to breathe. So he takes the scout role of the rogue and ventures on ahead, trying to find the way that they need to be going. And he comes back and he's like, hey, there's another pool of water that I think leads somewhere up ahead. I didn't want to get too far ahead without you guys.
Didn't he burn his foot, though?
I thought that was later.
Or was that later? Was it later? Okay.
I think that's in the next episode we're going to talk about.
No. He burned it in this particular episode. The same foot, he burned it in this episode.
Was it?
Yeah. When he was scouting ahead.
Oh, that's right. Because he nat won the jump across.
Yep.
But that's in the next room.
Okay. All right.
So, the group starts heading towards the thing, but of course, they're talking about how long they can hold their breaths and all that. And Travis just gets this look on his face. that look that says, I wonder. And so he asks Matt, the alchemy jug can make water, right? And Marisha picks up on the idea pretty quickly and is like, yeah, water breathing isn't concentration and it lasts 8 hours. So he fills the jug with water and they breathe from the alchemy jug as they're walking along, bypassing the constitution checks to hold their breath.
Those clutch.
Yes. And you could see when Travis first brought the idea up, Matt was like, what? Why? And then Marisha chimed in and he was like, I didn't think about that. I mean, seriously, that's just too cool of an idea.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that before. If they, I didn't think about the alchemy jug, but I was thinking before that, if they just carried water around with them, they could just breathe the water.
Yep.
Yeah.
My question was, why did Keyleth close off the water thing when they've been told that the air down there is poisonous, which means there's not going to be a lot of oxygen? Just fill the thing with water.
Yeah, but how much would the water have poured into the area that they were going to?
Now we get into a little bit of physics.
Yeah.
Liquids try to find their own depth. So it depends on how much pressure the area on the other side could withstand. Because if it's a completely closed system down there, then it would compress the air into as small a space as possible. But if there is an entrance towards the top or off on the side or whatever, which connects to air, then the water would go all the way through up to sea level. And now I just answered my own question of why not have the water just come through. Because if it is open, then they just doused every fire that they needed.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. Like you can't forge anything underwater.
Yeah. So that answers my question. Anywho,
Oh yeah. Ex Digester also mentions the water that they were putting their heads into just over and over and over again. Just that image alone is amazing, but that water is nasty.
Oh yeah.
It's nasty water.
As-
Go ahead. Sorry, that was my bad.
okay, no, I thought that was a train for a second.
Nope, it's my text message thing. I
Okay.
do it to freak people out.
Okay. Um, but yeah, I mean, going through the interior of the volcano, you've got all of the uh, soot and just the different particles that are coming out of the magma and all of that blowing through those tunnels. So yeah, that water got dirty and scummy and disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
But, as they get further down, Vax messes up a jump, burns that same foot, but thankfully he's a revenant, so it'll grow back a lot quicker than when he was simply a half elf.
Yep, don't matter no more.
Yep. And they find the smeltery. Now, Exdigester pointed out that the forge area was sealed off. And that's true. But they would have never been able to get into the forge area because the smeltery area is where they had to make the key to get in.
Oh, there was a door right before they were able to get to the stairwell. So they would have had to unblock that door, and then the water would have poured into that as well.
Yeah. So either way.
So everything would have been flooded.
Yeah. But they get into this smeltery area, and they find on one wall there's a rather large set of crossbeams with a pyramid-like indentation. On three of the other walls, or on the three other walls, is like a carved relief of warriors with a sword in one hand, the other hand empty. And the faces of the warriors are triangular, sort of pyramidal looking things, just holes.
Yeah.
And as the group is sitting there talking about what needs to be done and how they're going to get past and such, the reliefs step out of the wall.
Because Percy triggered it.
Yep. Percy was spider climbing / walking on the wall, poked the wrong thing, and oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Steelajit did bring up a good point. I did skip the fight with the magma bullets.
Oh yeah. What were we doing?
Well, I skipped that because that was just a don't get comfortable combat from Matt type thing.
Yeah, that's true. Grog and Scanlon did waste there. I don't know if waste is the right word, but I wouldn't have used it so soon. Grog cast Enlarge on himself, and Scanlon used his highest level spell to turn himself into a planetar.
Yep. I mean, it was useful, but I think it would have been better used coming up, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Yeah, much better used elsewhere rather than with a magma bullet.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, I just skipped over that because we are a little pressed on time, and there was it was just a don't get comfortable combat, not anything nothing really hinged on the fight.
Yeah.
So
What's with Matt having things swallow Grog? Is he just into having things swallow Grog?
I think it's more along the lines of, Grog being a barbarian is, right there on the front lines. And the monsters that like to swallow things are right there as well. So it's more of a happenstance than anything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in the smelting area, the reliefs come alive, and it was getting kind of late then at that point. So I saw it coming, but it was still like right at their usual time, and Matt has had combats that late. But this time, we were all expecting some combat, but no, the episode ended there and picked up in episode 108 with combat. My notes are lagged. There we go. Okay. So we open up with the combat with these three constructs, as Matt called them. Throughout the combat, I realized that Matt was using a modified Iron Golem template. Yep.
They reminded me of the, the big giant golem thing that came to destroy Thor in his first movie?
Oh, yeah, the Destroyer.
Yeah, they just blasted fire from their chests, just like the guy did from his head.
Yep.
Did basically the same thing.
Yeah, that was pretty cool though. In fact, in the Critters D&D chat where I normally watch Critical Role from, I had made a pun about how they would do with the Iron Man challenge, because it was a lot like in the Iron Man Mark 42 suit with the chest laser.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking of.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So, but eventually, they do overcome the Guardians, and they realize that they have to craft something using their faces as molds. So Grog goes over, looks at how to remove the head in order to get the mold to where he needs it to be to make the key. And of course, he's also thinking that what he's made, that those molds are for the Tremel. Yeah. So Grog rips the head off of these constructs slash golems. Grog's just a beast.
Yeah.
Let me just say that. I'm not meaning like.
I don't think he.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was saying.
I was just gonna say I don't. Oh my God, Akiva.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I
Ladies first.
I don't think he can roll below a 20 on his strength. It's just always above 20.
Either way, just ouch.
Yeah.
I'm not calling Grog a beast in an insulting way. It's like he goes beast mode, like gym talk beast mode.
Yeah, man.
Whew. But yeah, so they get all three heads off, and at first they use platinum to make the three pieces, and I believe it is Vex and Percy who figure out that they fit together like a puzzle.
Yeah.
So they eventually heft it up and put it into the triangular indentation in the wall. And it fits, but it doesn't do anything. So they take it out, and they discuss it, and they realize that, gold should probably be what they use.
Yeah, they tried punching it, heating it up. It doesn't work, so they decide to use a different material.
They use gold, and as soon as they put it in there, immediately they hear mechanisms starting to turn, and the door to the forging area lifts open. They're rather reluctant to go in after their fight with the constructs.
I would be too.
Oh yeah. And
I think everybody hid besides Scanlon and Grog were the only ones who didn't hide.
But even they stayed back.
Yeah, that's true.
Vax, went in. I thought it was funny because he's like, I'm going to wave my hand at it. And Matt was like immediately like, well, there goes your hide. He's like, but I'm still stealth.
Yeah, exactly.
You're waving at it. I mean, you're either waving at it or you're stealth. Waving is trying to get attention. Stealth is trying to avoid attention. Take your pick.
Yeah, like his logic was not solid.
Yeah, but behind the anvil, which is in the center of this room, up on a raised dais type area, behind it stands this huge construct holding an itty bitty hammer.
Itty bitty little hammer.
I say itty bitty. It was a forging hammer, but compared to the fact that Matt said this thing is 20 feet tall, it was itty bitty by comparison.
Yeah.
So they come in, and eventually Percy and Grog go up onto the dais, however that's pronounced. And when they do so, the construct drops the hammer, goes to the back wall, and picks up this huge sword. with runes along the blade. Comes back and holds it out while just staring at first Percy, but then Grog.
Yeah, because Grog started to approach.
Yeah, Grog stepped forward. Things are going slowly but fairly innocuously. Grog is trying to head over to where he thinks the hammer fell to try and get the hammer. And Vex, wanting to get a better look at things and being told okay by the rest of the group, shoots an oracle arrow. And without hesitation, the giant faceless construct just swings a sword, cutting a chain which drops the door in place. Roll initiative.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I would have been trying to argue. I would have been trying to argue that point because it's like she wasn't trying to actually shoot at the construct. She was shooting behind it. Like it wasn't an aggressive act. It was just a passive action.
Yeah, by the same token, the way Matt described where the arrow went.
That's true. It might have seen it as a attack.
The fact that it was an arrow, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see arguments for both sides, but that's why I'm a green dragon.
Yep.
So, combat begins.
This thing was like a swirling top of death.
Oh, yeah.
Terrible.
On top of that, every time it struck one of the party members, they had to roll a Constitution save. If they failed it, they went blind until they finally landed another hit. What the hell was that sword?
Jesus freaking. Man. That is an awesome sword to have in battle.
Yes. Yes, it is. So, the combat goes on, and I believe it's Vax that gets dropped.
Yeah, Vax gets dropped first, and then Scanlon follows.
Yep. So, and when Scanlon got hit, he reminded Matt that he was one of the 4 to receive the Death Ward. So he comes back to 1 hit point without having.
And then immediately drops because fire damage.
Yep. Keyleth uses her abilities to become a planetar herself, and plays medic essentially.
Yeah, that was a really good choice to do.
Oh yeah. And then
those planetars are really powerful.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I didn't realize how powerful they were.
Oh yeah. But she brings back, or I shouldn't say she brings back. Vax makes a death save roll, nat 20s.
Yeah.
And so there's a little discussion on what exactly that means. And Matt realizes, after looking it up, oh, you come back with 1 hit point. You don't just stabilize, meaning you remain at 0, but no death saves, like within 3.5, where you rolled to stabilize or else you bled out. In 5th edition, you roll that nat 20, you come back to 1. If you save 3 times, make the save 3 times, that's when you stabilize.
Yeah. Plus, he also got another hit point because he also had the death ward on him, so he shouldn't have dropped in the first place, but that didn't really matter.
Yep. But yeah, the party's just sitting there taking little chip, they're doing chip damage to it, little bits of its hit points at a time. Grog doing a whole bunch of damage.
Yeah.
And then
I'm so glad that all of their weapons are
magical.
Magical.
Yeah, because that thing would have been immune to non-magical damage.
As we saw with the what is it called? Water elementals that turned savage against them.
Yes. Keyleth had summoned a water elemental and was doing smash attack against the construct, but the construct took no damage. Primarily because the water elemental missed, but either way. But yeah, when Keyleth went to her planetar form, she lost control of the water elemental, which subsequently got blinded by the construct, which I thought was hilarious. But yeah, then with the last blow, Keyleth had moved in with her planetar. Planetars do an F-ton of damage when they hit. Because they have not only their sword damage that they roll, they also have radiant damage that they roll. So she got the how do you want to do this? After the combat, Matt says, I don't want to waste your time because we got to make sure that we're at a good stopping point before we go to Gen Con. And, they defeat the trivial water elemental. The construct goes back to behind the anvil, putting the sword up. Excuse me. And the party can then begin forging the trammels. This process...
That was scary.
It really was. I felt more nerve-wracked by the process of forging the trammels than I did the combat with the construct.
Yeah, I felt that they should have prepared more for it, but then again, they didn't really know what they were going to be needing, so I don't blame them. But at the same time, this is when Grog's enlarged form would have really come in handy.
Oh, yeah. So, the first step is breaking those little magic beans, those little marbles of godhood, and folding them into the platinum. Grog smashes the first one from Ioun. No problem. Folds it in. Smashes the next one from the Dawnfather. No problem. Folds that one in. Vax pulls out the one from the Raven Queen.
Problem.
Grog smacks it. Nothing.
Rolls too low. AC's 25.
Yep. Smacks it again. Little crack. Not the type of crack that they want. He's running he's running the risk of ruining the little bead.
That would have made the Raven Queen really, really upset.
Yeah. Now, I will say, Travis did a great improv job here. Because he was like, well, he's probably starting to get tired. So he played Grog. Oh, I'm just so tired. And he was getting inspiration and advantage and everything. So he makes the last hit and breaks it the way it's supposed to be broken.
Yay.
Yes. So he folds that in. They then start to get the base shape for the Tremels. And, so he makes the rolls for those. He almost breaks one of them, but is able to correct the mistake. And Matt describes the base of these things as looking like a spear sort of thing, where it starts thicker on one end and comes down to an impossibly thin, sharp point.
Yeah.
Then comes the twisting, because the Tremels aren't just a block strung out. They have to be twisted into a spiral in order to channel the godly power down to the tip. So they start twisting. And again, they almost break one. But they make it through. And now it's time for Percy to step up and get the celestial knowledge that he's not supposed to have out of his head. John O'Brien says in the chat regarding the possibility of ruining the bead of godly power from the Raven Queen, I think she would have reclaimed the power if it were broken without being tied to the Tremel, just as if the being held by them is ever freed.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah. We don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know for certain, but there's also the possibility that, oh, hey, they now have this broken bit of godly power that's just going to sit here forever, unless they physically take it back to the Raven Queen. But fortunately, that didn't happen. So, back to where we were going. They have to start getting into the chiseling portion of it.
You okay there?
The hammer.
Yeah.
Having a brain fart day. It's just been a long, long day. But yeah, the hammer turns out to be a magical item, and I think it was Percy that attuned to it.
Yeah, Percy attuned to it.
And when he did, he was able to shape it from the forge hammer down to a small chiseling hammer for the fine dexterity style chiseling. The Grog still has to swing it in order to actually make a mark in the Tremel. But Percy is the one holding the chisel and guiding how the mark will fall, or how the mark will be made. And so they have to, make checks on that. And it looked like one of the Tremels just was not going to be done.
Oh yeah, that was a really stressful roll.
Yeah. Oh, but he corrected.
They kind of, yeah. Go ahead.
I was going to say they no. Go ahead and finish because yours is more relevant.
Yeah, one of the Tremels is not as stable as the other ones and is more prone to being broken than the other two. So I wonder which one that is for me, because if it's the one with the Raven Queen, then that's kind of a bummer. But if it's the one with Ioun's, then it kind of makes sense.
Yeah. For me, it still kind of makes sense if it's the one from Palor, the Dawnfather. Because remember, he already gave some of his essence as well to hold the chained one.
That's true.
So either one makes sense, and for me, my headcanon is that's the one that is the most unstable, because that's the one Grog had trouble with when it came to the shaping and the twisting.
Okay.
But eventually they get them. Yeah, eventually they get them done. They have 3 Tremels, and then they have to get back out. They try pulling the chains. Scanlon uses Bigby's hand. Grog gets up there and tries pulling on the chain, and they get it a little bit.
That's when they were trying to get into the other room in order to start forging. They did that before they started forging.
Yes,
never
mind. I'm remembering it out of order. I apologize.
It's okay. They never had any issue trying to get out because Marisha kept saying, well, why don't I just plane shift us? Yeah. You do the mansion and then I plane shift us out of there.
Yep.
But the issue comes up that if you plane shift us to a place, we no longer have that mansion.
Yep. So what they end up doing is resting for the night in the mansion, and they're going to plane shift the next day. I say going to because that's where the episode ends. They're in the mansion, resting up, and it's just, so much stress.
Those two were very stressful.
Yeah.
I mean, the first one before the combat started for when they were trying to puzzle out how to get through the volcano, that one was more just we're waiting, and then this next one was just stress galore.
Yeah. It was like in Rocky Horror Picture Show. I don't know how many of you in the chat have seen it. But Rocky Horror Picture Show, there's a scene where Dr. Frankenfurter is talking about how they wait in
Patient.
And of course, that's the response of everyone in the room when he says Antissa. And they lean forward like, we're waiting. Hurry up. And then, or so, like, 107 was everything, or all the shit just falling.
Yeah.
And episode 108 was it finally hitting the fan. But that leaves the question. The live show at Gen Con.
Front row seats, man. Front row seats.
Yes.
Oh, God. Vecna shows up, you're gonna see my reaction. Because they're gonna cut to the audience. Just cause. And you're just gonna see me there, screaming. It's gonna be great.
Are you going to be dressed in your Saren Ray cosplay?
No, it'll be Kima.
Ooh, Kima. Nice.
Yeah.
Good to see you all armored up.
No.
Oh.
This is Kima from Dusk Meadow.
Okay.
When she comes in the dress, realizes that Grog's not dressed that way. So the gag is, I'm just going to be tearing that dress off all over the place, guys. You're going to see me in a dress, and then you're going to see me get real frustrated with that dress, and then just tear it off. So,
No comments.
In character, I'm very happy with that. I'm not very happy with that dress. Out of character, that dress is really hot. The sleeves just cling to the body. It's not cotton at all. And it's the middle of August in a very, very humid, thunderstorm-prone Indianapolis.
Yeah.
It's not going to be fun in that dress. But thankfully, the outfit I have on underneath is Kima's outfit when she comes back. So, I am fully clothed. Don't worry, when you see me take off that dress, I have the costume underneath.
Yeah. X the Jester has just given a new drink to the world. Gilmore's Glorious Shooter. Half ounce of Crown Royal, half ounce of LeBlanc, and a half ounce of Goldschlager.
Wow.
That's nice. I can't wait to have one, X. Oh, man. So, yeah, the finale of this campaign might possibly be at Gen Con.
I wouldn't count on it, but
Of course.
we might see Vecna. I definitely think we're going to see Vecna.
Vecna will definitely make an appearance.
Yeah.
But it is possible, depending on how early that happens, it is possible to have the end of the campaign there. And how
or at least the big fight.
The big fight's definitely going to be there. But, I mean, how fitting would it be? They started, in private. Then they grew to, 300,000 viewers every Thursday on Twitch. And now, finishing the campaign with them and all of the people who love the show, present and right there. How fitting would that be?
That'd be really fitting.
Yeah.
It'd be really, really fitting. It's gonna make Saturday a real bummer, though.
Yeah. That being said, because the live show is on a Saturday.
It's a Friday.
Or on a Friday, yeah. And you will be at Gen Con. It will be, hopefully, it'll be me and Kalia next Saturday. She's getting settled in. She wasn't able to join us this week because, new job, new city, trying to get things settled in. But hopefully next week she'll be able to join us. And I know that Friday, when they are doing the live show, over on Critters D&D, they'll be hosting it on Twitch. I'll be hosting it at my channel as well. So, if you guys wish to discuss things with me, twitch.tv/AkivaDavid, AKIVADAPHYDD, will get you to the watching party with me, and I will be interacting with you guys throughout the entire thing. Jess, make sure you get a lot of pictures.
I'll try. Don't pressure me. I'm already freaking out because the schedule is just so jam-packed. Like, I'm going to everything, Critical Role, but then I have a couple of other events I'm going to go see with Matt, and then I also have the party, and then meetups, and then the live show after, and just... And
you'll have all the critters that are going that watch Gilmore's Glorious Gossip trying to hit you up.
I know. All my Tumblr critter friends that I've been telling, hey, I'm coming to the con, come see me. Yeah.
Yep. Steal a Jet in the chat asks, I have an important question. Will Gilmore's Glorious Gossip stop when the campaign does? No. No, it will not.
No.
We will be here for the next campaign as well.
Because Gilmore isn't dead.
Correct. And even if
20 years later.
Yeah. Well, Matt said he's shooting for 20 years later. But
okay.
he can change his mind at any time until that first episode. So, even if it does end up, he said 20 years, that's fine, Gilmore's still around. If it's 200 years and Gilmore has passed, well, you know what? His shop is still, being watched by us, still carrying on, will carry on his tradition, his memory. We are definitely going to keep Gilmore's Glorious Gossip going.
We're actually high elves, and we live for a really long time, so you guys don't have to worry about us being like 200-something years old. It's fine. It's normal for us.
Well, Jess is a high elf. I'm a green dragon, so I'll live for thousands.
That's
of years.
True. That's true.
Yep. But I do apologize. I was not watching the time and moving the art as I should have been, so some of the art didn't get featured as long as it should have. However, those of you watching on Monday and later, you're going to be like, what are you talking about? It was fixed. It will be fixed post-production, but don't worry. Your art is still being featured, even now. So...
And if you did not see your art pop up tonight, even though we were asking today that we were going to be showing it, you're going to see it next week. I had a lot of responses saying yes, and we just didn't have the time to get everything in.
Yes. So, thank you guys so much for joining us this week. If you enjoyed the episode, click on that like button and subscribe to catch us each and every week. And YouTube has been doing something new for a little while now with the notification button. So if you see that little bell when you subscribe, click on that. YouTube will alert you when we post new videos and when we are going live. If you have any D&D questions, you can send them in to us using the hashtag DMs Corner. That's DMS Corner. If you want to submit art, you can contact us via Twitter at Gilmore_gossip, via email Gilmore's Glorious Gossip, all one word, at gmail.com. Via Tumblr, Gilmore-gossip.tumblr.com. Or by our individual Twitters. I'm at Akiva David, AKIVADAPHYDD.
I'm Jess.
At...
Oh, sorry. At Jessie LR Leaf over on Twitter. There it is.
We hope you enjoyed, and until next week, kick back, relax, and enjoy your games.
May all your hits be crits. Have a nat 20 day. I will see you guys on the internet.
Bye-bye.